And then all of a sudden I see beings. I'll just say beings because I can't really describe these beings either. It was like three beings. They were not angels. They were not demonic or anything. They were not evil. I didn't get anything evil from this. But this bird was guiding me to these three beings. And these three beings were over. It was like they were like standing over this ground. And then as I got closer, the bird stopped right in the area where these three beings were. And the bird was white. I can describe it a tad bit. It was white. It wasn't a dove or anything like that. Like I said, it's not a bird in the sense of truly what we see in the world. But I know white was, I knew the white had significance. It had a meaning in the dream. So it stopped right in front of the three beings. And these three beings, once they saw me, then they were just standing there at first, but they were looking down as if, they were waiting. And so once they saw me, that's when they started movement. They started action. They took action. They reached down and they pulled back. Like the three of them reached down and pulled back with both hands. There was like a covering. There was like this big rectangular space. Like imagine a pool. It was the big space like a pool. And they reached down and they pulled. It was like a covering. But they pulled it back. And once they pulled it back, there were just bags and bags and bags of these big bags filled with money. And it was other things in there too, but next to this area, it made me focus on what was next to this area. And there was like a pool, and there were like individuals, around the pool, like enjoying a pool day type thing, but they were not outside. They were indoors. We were indoors. And so I walked over to that area, and they were telling me, the three beings were like guiding me and telling me intuitively to wait until they leave and make sure that they don't get into the pool. And so I walked from one side all the way around just to let it be known the pool is closed, and then I walked back past the back side of the three beings, and then I went around like where I started, but then went straight because the bird had started moving again, and I'm following the bird. So then as I follow the bird, it's guided me to another area. Now in this area, the main thing, and I'm hearing just now, "You're My Lady" by D'Angelo. Now, and I don't know if y'all see the lights. I don't have a light on in the room. I only have the windows open with the sunlight coming through. But if you notice on my camera, the lighting is jumping. It's been doing that. There's no light on. You can see my light above me. The light is not on. But my video has been doing this where it gets light and it gets dark. So I don't know if it's something with the camera or what's going on, but the bird guides me and I follow. And I get to this part and it's like, I'm like on one level, but there's another level below us. And it's like a area you can look over down into this level, that it was a lower level. So we traveled down to this lower level. And as I got down there, I saw D'Angelo in my dream from when we were on the higher level, and I'm looking down. Actually, I'm on the higher level and I'm looking down, and I'm like, and so then as we are going down, before I fully get down, we're going down and I see D'Angelo, and he's like laid on like a hammock setup, but it wasn't a hammock. And then all around it's like a circle. It's like a circle of these hammock-like things. And so as the bird goes down and I go down behind it, once I get to the bottom, the bird is no longer present. So I'm just exploring this lower area, and because I, in the dream I just saw D'Angelo, so I'm like, what is D'Angelo doing here? Like, I know he, has joined the ancestors, and so, but he was fully like alive in this dream, and he was in this hammock type thing, but it wasn't a hammock. It was like way wider than a hammock, and it wasn't like, a hammock hangs on from one end to the other and hangs on its post setup. But this was like, it was a setup, like in a home or something, like where you can just go lounge. It was like a lounge. It was just like a lounge area, but it was in a circle where there were others. So as I get down there to get a closer look, I still can see him in the dream space. And it's like he's listening to music, melodies. I'll just say melodies. He's listening to melodies. As I get closer to him, I can, like see his energies, and, he's saddened, but he's quiet, he's peaceful. It's like he's meditating. And then, but as I get close, I go around because it's a circle of these. So as I go around and I get to the front of his, it's not him anymore. It says Erykah Badu. And then I'm like, what in the world is going on in this dream? So I wake myself up out of the dream, because I just thought, like, this is crazy. I don't know what's going on. So I wake myself up, and that's when I go to try to research to find out what was that bird about. Like, where have I seen this before? Like in folklore or fictional, a fictional book, something. I've seen this before. But anyways, I couldn't find it. So lo and behold, I was sitting here this morning and I'm shuffling these cards, and let me do a part 2. The messages I got that came out. So I'm going to come back and do a part 2, because I feel these messages are either one or two things. There is a individual by the name of Myrtle Polk. So these are the cards. The cards I just showed you are the cards to the right of me. But there is an individual from Dallas, Texas, from Oak Cliff, Texas. Her name is Mrs. Myrtle Polk. She's 88 years old. She disappeared 17 months ago. She disappeared in June of 2024. Her vehicle was recently found submerged in a local creek. I was asking the divine for insight and clarity on where is Myrtle Polk. I created some intuitive handwritten card messages. These colored cards are my new cards that I've just added into my deck over the last 2 weeks max. But these particular cards, I just added these in over the last past 5 to 7 days. And after they found her vehicle, because I wanted to see if there was any information on her location or whereabouts. And this card, during those readings, I did not upload them because I didn't feel like it was my place to do so. But then I came across, I kept coming across news reports. The local news has picked the story up and it aired on the local news. And then there is a influencer, a news influencer, his page. He did a post about them finding her vehicle submerged in 5 Mile Creek. And, the family is asking for any information, tips on her location and whereabouts, if anyone knows anything or has any insight. Also, they are still doing search parties. The police have opened back up the search efforts as well, but mainly her church and her local community have been at the forefront of trying to find her. Not 100% clear on the messages that are revealed as to who they relate to. But I know that the divine is guiding me. These are some of the cards that came out to my left. When I came across that news on TikTok of the influencer sharing, the discovery of her vehicle, I asked the divine, to close out the energy, just reveal what messages you would like for me to reveal to share on this particular influencer's page, to help them locate their loved one. And I shared an abandoned home, an abandoned building, or vacant. It said a vacant, like an abandoned home or an abandoned structure, a condemned building or condemned structure. There were about 6 or 7 cards that I shared on the photo. I'll try to clip it here. But it also indicated it's close by his or her home. Someone this person knew is involved. And I'll clip it here. But yeah, so today this energy just started coming back out as I was sitting here. I literally shuffled a few cards, then I got on TikTok and I was following someone that's doing a live on credit repair services, and her ebook and her services that she has on credit repair. And then the energy switched. When I saw the 3 Claire cards come out, claircognizance, which is a psychic gift of knowing, and clairvoyant, psychic ability to perceive, and clairaudient, the ability to perceive messages, words, or sounds beyond ordinary auditory, and then you are all the way tapped in. When those came out, that's when I knew, okay, the energy was switching. And then after that, this came out, and it was followed by 20 years. So let me stop this, and I'm going to do a separate video.